Yo, what's up guys? The Insane Game Freak here. And I'm here to do I guess you could say a review of Pokemon Black version. And since Pokemon Black and Pokemon White are, essentially the same version, I guess you could say I'm doing a review of the Pokemon Black and White games. Now, as I said, I was going to do this review after I beat the Elite Four, which I did, I would say, 3 hours ago. Um, so I've beaten the main game, so I'm reviewing the main game. First thing, this game is my second favorite game of all of the entire Pokemon franchise. Well, at least in the main games, like first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation. This is my second favorite out of all five of those generations. And my ranking goes second generation, fifth generation, first generation, third generation, fourth generation. Because honestly, Diamond and Pearl aren't that good, in my opinion. Just saying. So I mean, I'm not really. The plot is pretty much the same thing as it has always been. Traveling the world, beating 8 gym leaders, and fighting the Elite Four, and becoming a Pokemon champion and master of them all. And that's really the basics of the game. So, pros of the game. This is kind of a pro and a con because of so many people's opinion. Personally, this is a pro to me. The graphics. The graphics have been jacked up to the point where it looks fucking awesome. It looks fucking awesome, personally. To me, personally, the game looks awful. A lot of people bitch because, like, oh god, I want to see pixels this close up. It fucks up the view and all this other dumb shit. Personally, it didn't irk me at all. Personally, like, I personally enjoyed the fuck out of the graphics. I guess the second thing you can mention about the difference in this generation, this is our only generation to have a female, professor. Which is funny because it's kind of a spoiler in the game because I didn't even fucking see this coming. Because for people who want to know, what I've known about this game before playing it, I've seen all the Pokemon at least once before. And I knew the basics. That was it. I didn't know any of these little surprises that are thrown in here. Like, I knew Teen's Plasma's gold, which is also a plot twist at the end of it, near the end of it. Like, you get hints that there's going to be a plot twist, and then they just outright tell you at the end of the game. So and this is probably the least I've known before playing a Pokemon game, so I will say it's fun. And one of the best things about this game is this game doesn't make you go and run across the same old Pokemon you've been running across for 4 fucking generations, or in latter time for 13, 12 fucking years. So, no fucking Zubats, no fucking Geodudes, no fucking Rattatats, no Pidgeys. You were just going through the bitch and enjoying the Pokemon you ran across. Everything was new. It honestly felt like a new adventure. That was one of the best things about this game. It felt like a new adventure. It didn't feel like you were going to another region that was connected, but you can never go backwards. This region is in a fucking island. It was like it felt so fresh and new. And that's one of the best things about this game I love. So Satoshi, which is the creator of Pokemon, which explains why Ash's name in the anime is Satoshi in Japan. Get the correlation. The creator's name is Satoshi. Whatever. You, on that aspect, you fucking rock. Graphics, you fucking rock. Plot. I honestly think I can say this. This has the best plot for any Pokemon game in the franchise so far. It's better than any of the other previous games. It beats the shit out of every generation's games up to this point. I'm just point blank because it brings up a very interesting issue. For people who don't know, Team Plasma's goal is to pretty much free all Pokemon. This is weird in itself, and I'm not gonna lie. When I first read this in like the little spoiler I did read of it, it sounded like some hippie human activist rights bullshit. But it actually falls into a very interesting plot point of Pokemon as a franchise because there's been so many jokes and parodies of Pokemon, and one of the most running jokes is that the premise of Pokemon is literally we catch small animals, trap them in tiny ass balls, and make them fight each other. This game addresses that in a level. Well, as much as a Pokemon game has ever addressed that issue. And I thought that was really fucking interesting that the Switch. So, for future games, Satoshi, do more shit like this where you address issues about the franchise as the villains of the game. Because we don't really give a fuck that you change. I will say that Team Plasma looked a lot like Team Galactic, which was the only gay thing about Team Plasma. Until they switched it up and threw in a whole bunch of crazy shit at you. I will say, the other best thing about the game is that one of the main villains you were fighting in the game kind of turns out to be one of your best friends, like on some level. Like N. I'm talking about Pokemon Trainer N. He's probably the most interesting antagonist, quote unquote, character um, in the world because he's not really an antagonist in the sense that he's a bad guy. He's more of an antagonist because he has a opposing viewpoint than you do. Because he thinks that you should throw away all your Pokemon and be free. But and it's funny because their team is a walking contradiction, which they address at the end of the game. But their team is a walking contradiction, catching Pokemon to free Pokemon, which I thought was a little hypocritical and funny, and didn't make any sense until you get to the end of the game. Then it's like, oh, that's why they were like that, because of this, which I'm not going to spoil, because the ending is it's kind of predictable after you get to a certain point in the game. It becomes really fucking obvious. But Pokemon Trainer N is like this mysterious fucker that you just see throughout the game, and you don't know why. Now, what he actually is in terms of the story, you will find out fairly soon, and it's actually pretty fucking interesting what he actually is. And I find this crazy because he's a quote unquote hero, and I'm gonna just play the fucking game and you'll enjoy it. This game actually plot wise is interesting enough why I actually would be spoiling major plot points by telling you it. So go play the game if you want to know what that plot line is. But it's I'll put it this way, it's the best Pokemon plot, but that's not saying much, since that all the other plots have been like rah, 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 rah. I want to take over the world using Pokemon. Blah, 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 blah. You 10-year-old boy are going to randomly stop me, even though you're just bystanding and just happen to be like, hey, fuck you. No, it's the game kind of surrounds you. The other thing I liked about the game is that the fact that the game has the gym leaders each do something. Like, the gym leaders aren't just these fuckers you fight and you never regard to again. Like, they actually come back repetitively in the story. I think the one that shows up the most, ironically, is I probably would say Clay, which is the 6th gym leader, and Lenora, who is the 2nd gym leader. I think the only gym leader who doesn't show up that much is ironically the 1st gym leader, which is Dento. And if you pick the fire starter, it's Dento. And which I thought was kind of funny in my opinion, because of how well, which I think is the reason why he's like one of the main characters in the anime, is because he doesn't really do much in the game. Also, the other thing that's really good about this game is the fucking rivals. Instead of other games where you only had like one rival, this game gives you the privilege of having 2 rivals. One of them is a basic kind of straight off rival, except he's not a dick. He's like Gary minus the asshole. This is what literally he's like Gary minus the asshole. And you have a second trainer, Bianca, who is like Dawn in the anime, where she's all wishy-washy and shit. Because literally, and it's funny because these 2 characters grow as people. Like these get like a personality in some sense. Sharon is the guy who really just wants to have Pokemon to be strong and wants to become a champion, but he doesn't really know why he wants to. So his whole thing is he's going throughout the region trying to figure out why he wants to become Pokemon Master. He knows he wants to become a Pokemon Master, but he doesn't understand why. Bianca, on the other hand, is a trainer that just kind of sits out with no clear-cut idea. And there's actually a theme with her. She literally doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. She's just traveling. She has no idea what the fuck she wants to do. And there's even a couple moments where her dad comes in there and intervenes, telling him about, you should come home. You shouldn't be out here doing all this dumb shit. You should be at home like a good little girl. And actually, one of the gym leaders ends up interacting with her and her dad during one of their little quarrels. So I thought that was really interesting. Now to get into the battle system. The battle system is pretty much the same as it has been in the other games, where, turn-based battle system using attacks and dumb shit. The one thing I did find interesting, this really isn't anything groundbreaking, but I thought this was a little interesting. They took out the whole avoid. They took out the whole miss thing. Like, no Pokemon misses anything in this attack in this game. It's usually all of the other Pokemon avoid it, and it also brings in a little hunch I have about the other two gameplay mechanics that are added in here, which would be rotation battles and triple battles. Rotation battles are literally you have three Pokemon on the thing as if you would in a triple battle. The difference is that only one Pokemon can attack at a time. It's not like you choose all three attacks. It's like you pick one attack and you aim for it pretty much. Like you pick one attack for one Pokemon and that's a turn. And it's just rotation. And the coolest thing about this is pretty strategy oriented, is that you have to guess whether they're going to rotate an attack or if they're going to just attack. Because these are three different Pokemon, so you're worrying about three different types and three different abilities, and three different move sets, along with your own move sets and own abilities, and it brings more strategy into the game. Triple battles is about the same thing. Triple battles are like double battles. The only difference is that if you're on the far opposite sides of each other, you're not going to attack each other. So if you're on the far left, you're only going to attack anything that's the left of you and in the middle of you. You can't attack the far right. And vice versa for the far right. And if you're in the middle, you can attack all sides. And that's how triple battle. That's the only really big difference with triple battles, which really isn't a big deal. I do think the rotation is going to be a basis of what Satoshi's eventually going to use as a dodging mechanism, because I think that's been one of the biggest annoyances in the Pokemon franchise, that you can't dodge attacks. And the reason why is because it's so hexed out and battles will take forever. But I think this might be the prototype for a dodging mechanism, like you would do. You still have a rotation style thing, but it'd be more on the lines of you having one Pokemon out, but being able to dodge left or right while attacking. And it'd be kind of. But the problem with that is it would boil down to chance, and I don't know if he's going to do that or not. But this is just a hunch I have. I think, all right, but as far as the positives go, I think that's all the main positives. And then I'll get into some just aspects of the game in a second, but I want to talk about the cons for a second. The main con of this game is what everyone else has been saying it is. It's the fucking Pokemon themselves. I'm not gonna fucking lie. A lot of people say they scraped the bottom of the barrel for this version. Yes, they fucking did. Because some of these Pokemon look so offhanded, it's retarded. It's retarded. Not to say that none of the previous generations haven't had this problem before, but some of these just look really, really offhanded. And I will say this is probably the most Digimon-esque version of Pokemon I've seen in my life. Especially with the evolution animation, where it's not like the where the two little shadow sprites would flash and you would and then it would switch over when they evolve. No. It's like they digitize, like they become data and swirl around and then reform as a new Pokemon. I swear to God, the evolution looks like Digi-evolving. But really, that's the biggest nitpick in this game is the fact that, god damn it, they fucked up that some of these Pokemon just look really offhanded and stupid. The other nitpick I have to say is, why in the fuck did you change the L button equaling the A button? Because that was actually very useful. That was very fucking useful. Why did you take that out? Because I instinctively was doing that throughout the entire game, pressing the L trigger thing and I'm hitting A. And they're going, oh, the text isn't moving. A. Fuck! And it kind of ticked me off. I don't know, that's just a really minor nitpick. Another nitpick I have, the bike controls suck. But luckily in this game, the bike isn't necessary for certain parts of the game. You literally can go throughout the entire game without using the bike. But the bike controls suck so much because and you're like, how do you fuck up bike controls for a fucking 2D game? Because the fucking bike controls overshoot everything. Like if you're trying to get into a building, you're gonna overshoot the building. Like you're gonna hit the wall right next to the building, or you're gonna hit the other side of the building without actually going into the building. Or if it's stairs, you hit the little two blank spots you can't hit in the damn stairs. You're like, on the stairs you have to go middle and then go up the stairs. You can't do that in this game on the bike because the bike makes you overshoot it, and you're just like, ding, hit the wall. Like if you were to take actual damage from hitting walls, your fucking character will have a concussion if you use the bike too long. Because god damn it, that bike is broken. That bike is so fucking broken. It's retarded. That's really my main cons with the game. The second thing with the game, The game is somewhat a little easier, but at the same time, it's more challenging. And this is what I mean. Um, Getting into the gameplay aspects, you have a couple innovations I like to mention out, and I think these are awesome. The first one I really like is the fact, you know how one of the most annoying things in Pokemon was is that you would go grind levels, because you're going to grind levels in this game regardless. Grind levels, and you would have to go into a cave, run the fuck out to the Pokemon Center, go back in the cave, run back into the Pokemon Center, cave, Pokemon Center, cave, Pokemon Center, and you had to do this shit repetitively until you got to where the fuck you wanted to be. The game has kind of added in this kind of like portable Pokemon Center in the form of trainer battles with doctors and nurses. And not like Nurse Joys and shit, but just like normal doctors and nurses. Because we got like a slightly new cast of like trainer sprites. We also have a black trainer sprite. Unfortunately, he's stereotypical and he's a fucking dancer, but whatever. But anyways, you have like these doctors and nurses that you fight. And when you beat them, they will heal your Pokemon, and you can keep coming back to them and healing your Pokemon. The only criteria is you have to beat them once, and then that's it. The only thing I am a little annoyed with is it kind of makes the game easier, but at the same time, it makes the game less annoying. Also, this game is probably the least HM heavy game at all. Like this game, literally, you don't need HMs to progress. You really don't. The game is really focused more on the gameplay than the HM tricks. Like they took out almost a lot of the puzzles in this game. It's more of just you have to just fight and traverse the land. That's it. It's not this fucking bullshit where you needed like strength, cut, surf, fly, dive, waterfall, rock climb to get through every portion of the game. No, it's you can literally get even Victory Road is retardedly easy. You can just get through the game. Just get through the fucking game. You don't have to do shit. You just get through the game. It's really simple. And I thought that was kind of crazy in my opinion, but it's literally all you're doing. You really don't use cut at all in the game. I used it once in the game. I actually went the entire game without using strength. I don't even think that's where they stopped. The only HMs you get in the game are cut, fly, surf, and strength. That's it. You get Rock Smash, but that's technically not an HM, and it's not like it has the HM use anymore. Like there wasn't any hidden areas that you had to use Rock Smash for. Surf is so underused, it's retarded. But then again, Surf was really never meant to be like this ridiculous move. It should have just been a fucking move in itself instead of this HM trick. There's no really big water sections in the game, period, anyway, so it's not a big deal. But the game, also the fact that this game has unlimited TMs, I'm glad they kept that in. Ironically, they still make it a challenge because they don't give you really any like ridiculously good HMs. I mean, good TMs until after the Elite Four, which I thought was a little bullshit. Like you don't even get Psychic or Earthquake until you beat the Elite Four, because the cities that they're in, you can't travel to until after you beat the game, which I thought was kind of retarded. The last thing I'm gonna mention, because we're almost at 20 minutes and I need to stop this review, is simply put that this game focus a lot more on like it's not like the other games where you would go in there and it'd be like all you had to do is have a certain moveset and you can wreck shit. No, in this game there's more strategy involved. You can't do one-hit kills in this game as quickly as you could in other games, which I think makes the game more challenging in some sense, even though they kind of balance it out by making certain things really easy, like healing and shit. But all in all, Pokemon Black and White, I think, is probably the second best game in the entire franchise, handheld franchise. And if you are a Pokemon fan, pick this up. Now, is it the revolutionary game that everyone's been wanting for, like this 3D amazing fucking piece of artwork? No. But damn it, it's really fucking good. I will say this. Play this game and you will be reminded why you fell in love with the franchise. Because this game feels so much like Red, Blue, and Yellow. It's so fucking nostalgic because of how fresh the game feels. And that's one of the best things about this game. You don't even see OG Pokemon until like after you beat the game. So as a Pokemon fan for 13 years and counting, actually more than that, probably like 14 years and counting, get this game. I'm suggesting it. Buy it. Now. Anyways, this is the game. Oh my god, this is the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game, play to win. I'll catch you guys later. Gotta catch them all. Pokemon, mon.